AI is such a disruption because for the first time, it's operating at the software level where humans used to play. So if we go back to the factory, this is very algorithmic, whether it's the human process or the machine process, that's algorithmic. But when we get into the knowledge workers connected by the internet, their brain is the software to make themselves more efficient, but they still had that individualized control because that was a database on their own computer. Now, when we got into cloud computing, that database was in the cloud, so they ceded some control of the physical location of that database, and they may have ceded some control over the analysis of that database. But at the end of the day, humans remained at the pinnacle of the software level. And that's what's really under threat today. Is the problem with AI the technology itself? Or is the problem with AI the people and what they do with that technology? I would argue that technology in and of itself is not bad. It's a lot of what people do with that technology that becomes challenging. Next up, is the information confusing? Yes, of course it is. Are there many decision makers? Absolutely. Tim, we just have to look at you. You've got teachers in their union on one side, you have administrators on another side, you have parents as the third leg. And oh, by the way, I've mentioned three stakeholders and haven't even mentioned children. I want to just point out to you that there are two schools of thought, accelerationists who just say more AI is better, period. This would be Sam Altman. Building bigger, faster, better LLMs is better because we can solve more problems. On the flip side, doomers worried that Sam was going too far, and these are people who fear that we've already crossed a red line. I would agree with them that the genie's out of the bottle, so to speak. It cannot be put back in. I'm not saying either of those is right or wrong, but I'm just giving you both perspectives to help you understand where others are coming from, practicing empathy, and find that middle, which is what we're talking about, the idea of human-centered AI, because the results of the decisions that we make, they're absolutely confusing. If I ask them what's the difference between machine learning and AI, they have no idea or can't articulate that. So I wanted to take some time and break this hierarchy down to help you understand a little bit more. Think about our brain as we process light as an input in our eyes, but yet we discuss it through sound waves. I'm not communicating back to you a picture, I'm communicating in words. And so that's an example of that multimodality, whether it's natural language processing, taking text and putting it into, taking language, putting it into text, seeing something and making an assessment, taking text, turning it into speech, like we see with companies like 11 Labs. So again, the multimodality is I can input it as text or I can speak to the AI and it will generate an image. That is pretty good. This is AI in action. And maybe I'm being a little bit pedantic here, but AI isn't a fairy dust that you can sprinkle on anything and it automatically fixes a problem. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. And machine learning is two forms, supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning, meaning a human's watching it. Just as an example, if you have a coded data set and you feed that into a machine learning algorithm and you have a column in your database that says good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, right? The real unlock is when it's unsupervised. A classic example is freeform customer feedback, and you rely on the LLM to actually process that for you and come up with labels good and bad without you in the loop. That's the big difference. Let me repeat that. Think about if you're Gmail. If you sit there and you say thumbs up, thumbs down, that's supervised learning. But if Gmail automatically categorizes them for you, like they do now, right? You get primary, social, promotions, etc., those different tabs. That's unsupervised learning. But yet you can drag that to another tab to reassign it, and that's supervised learning. I want to make that difference. You've probably heard this phrase, what the hell is a neural network? What the neural network does is it takes the apple, it takes the tomato, breaks it down into a grid, and then looks at each square within that grid. Now, as you can see, this is red with a green streak going kind of middle left to top left to bottom left, etc. In and of itself, those individual squares do not tell us that it's a tomato. They're all elements of a tomato. And that's the input layer. So you see the tomato with the grid. The grid is broken up into the input, put in the input layer. It goes through the multiple hidden layers. These arrows represent the weights. Those weights are super top secret. And then it comes out at the end where it gives you a prediction, a statistical prediction based on the math of the weights of these different paths. And that's how you come up with that number. That's how neural networks are used on images. Thanks for listening to this recap of our first lecture in the AI leadership series, where we talked about the fundamentals of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and neural networks. Come back next week when we're going to touch on prompting and the best tools for prompt engineering. Learn more about what I do at biginnovates.com. And remember, when thinking about your strategy, always go big.